So these are, pun intended, evolving. So here's where I kind of assess this group. Callie Armstrong is the Evolve Women's Champion. She is definitively one of the best women that they have there. But she is also at a level that if she were to go to NXT right now, I think she'd fit in perfectly fine. She would be on the same range as like a Lola Weiss or Kalani Jordan or whoever in that kind of range. But she still wouldn't be the same that we can compare to main roster talent or to NXT talent that could be up to the main roster right now. So I can't go A or B for Callie. And that kind of sets the tone. Kendall Gray is being treated as a pretty big deal over in Evolve, but I don't see it all that much. Kylie Ray, same sort of thing. Like, just, they're fine. Penny Nitzwillup is fun in LFG. She's got a lot of potential, but she's an LFG, quote-unquote, fighting for an NXT contract talent, so you can't rank super high. Wendy Chu, same thing. She has arguably been better in Evolve than she ever was in NXT, which is good for her, but when you're on the D show, you can't go higher than a C. Zeta Steele has a ton of potential in the future, but she's not at that range yet. Xena Sterling, fun character, seems like she's getting better in the ring, but she's on LFG. Lower than that, Bailey Humphrey is not at the same range as Xena is yet, but she has a lot of potential as well. If she can get some things to click, I think that we could see her being a pretty big deal going forward. Brindley Reese is a lot of fun. James Kelsey's got some potential to be the new Casey Canzaro or, the little flippy girl kind of spot. Hayes Jameson is great for character work. The in-ring stuff isn't quite there yet, but if you can take Hayes' character and personality and give that to even somebody who's a veteran, like a Natalia would be way higher up. Hayes has personality. Gentala, Summer Sorrell, people that have some talent. I don't see it as much in Carly Bright, Serena Lenton, and Tatiana Dumas. It wouldn't shock me at all if they eventually don't get onto NXT proper at all. And then I have quite literally no opinion when it comes to Ari Bennett, Chantel Moreau, Calix, who is Jessica Carr in a mask. It's cool that she's wrestling. Layla Diggs, Mason Holiday, Zara Zucker, I think is how it's pronounced, and Zoe Sager. I don't think Zoe Sager's wrestled a single match. I think Zara Zucker is just like basically on ID. Chantel Moreau's got some character. Layla Diggs and Mason Holiday are just the same as their names. So that's 23 names to just completely, mess around with on there. If this becomes a little bit too confusing with these being ranked on that front, then I'll move them over to no opinion. But keep in mind, any of the purple ones, it's just my opinion. So that knocks out a third of what we've already got. And we got 54 other names to go on here, and a good third of them, 21 of them, are on NXT. Let's set the tone, though. Let's go with our S's and our F's.
Can I also first, as out of the Thief League Goddesses, obviously, I know the Emerald have no kind of basis to judge, essentially. But if Evolve is akin to, it's sub NXT, so similar to, if we consider NXT to be on par with, Ring of Honor, or maybe slightly higher, obviously, it's on TV, and there's more of a need to have bigger stars on NXT, so I can understand that, but Evolve is literally just newbies coming through. How can so many be ranked C?
So I was going to get to that when we start ranking the other people. This is if I'm ranking based off of not having ranked anybody else, but the moment we start putting other people in there, I would effectively move everybody from C to D, D to E, and E to F.
Okay.
That's kind of how I would range it. So I wanted to give credit to Callie Armstrong right now. If she was exactly what she is in Evolve, but she was on NXT, I'd put her in C.
I also think she's good.
But realistically, if she is only on Evolve, she shouldn't be quite at the same level. But there's no real difference to me between Callie Armstrong and Evolve versus Carmen Petrovic in NXT. They're about at the same. Arguably, Callie might even be higher in some ways. But once we start moving other people, I'll probably just shift everybody over by one. I could probably just even do that now, just to make that a little bit easier. Because I'm not going to advocate for anybody to lose their jobs and stuff like that. But if Serena Lenton doesn't make it out of the LFG show and never gets to NXT, I'm not going to be super surprised. Let's put it that way. So I don't want to say drizzling shit says wow, this person's terrible and they'll never make it. But right now, if I've got 100 people on the roster and I would have to release certain people, I don't see it in Tatiana Dumas or whatever.
All right.
So shift it over like that. S tier, I'd put Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley, Io Sky.
I'd put Stephanie Vaquero potentially at that range already, but S and A when it comes to Stephanie, you were saying that she's gonna be super high up. Becky is probably gonna be pretty high up. What happened to Becky on there? I clicked the wrong thing. Bianca, even though she hasn't been around for the past couple of months, she's perpetually
level talent.
I highly doubt a broken finger is gonna make Bianca Belair not be able to be Bianca Belair. Just for the sake of just actually placing, I'd go S for Bianca.
Yeah, I think she's solidified as an S tier talent.
You were saying that EO is S. I don't know if I'd go S for EO, but I would definitely at least go A plus.
I don't know how you could say that EO's not an S and Stephanie is.
Stephanie's definitely not. Stephanie's an A. I think EO's an S. Especially as we're looking at this as the 2025 rankings, this was her year. She's getting the year vote.
I still I hate when they put EO in positions to cut promos the way that they've been doing lately, where it's not good enough for her English skills. They've been doing with Stephanie, they don't put her in the same promos as EO, and it masks Stephanie better than EO. You know what I mean? So that always hinders her because she's great though.
I wanted to share something with you. My daughter met someone on Roblox, and he ended up being a predator.
EO, you know what I mean? So that always hinders her because she's great though. Do we toss Becky in S?
Yeah, I think so.
I think you have to. Star power wise, she's S forever.
Who could we go C on?
Viper Niven, the now before.
I wouldn't go higher.
If you're going lower, then you're going to have to start moving all the people down even further.
I wouldn't go a B for them. I'd go C.
Yeah.
Alpha Fire, Piper Niven. One report saying that Piper Niven might be career-ending injury. That sucks if that's the case.
Fightful just said it's a neck injury, but people are confident she will return.
Oh, that's good. I had the script into Raw and SmackDown, but I should probably just do it alphabetically for the main roster because it's a little bit throw me off a little bit here and there. Let's see. Out of the low end of try to set an F tier or a D tier or an E or whatever it might be on the main roster, the names that aren't on the Evolve side of things. I'm not super high on Lainey Reed. I haven't seen super much of her, but like she hasn't shown me anything that really makes me think that she's anything other than a D or an E.
Yeah, like maybe an E, just because the D will probably get reserved for a lot of the main roster people.
Yeah, I can see that. Now, again, NXT from tonight hasn't even happened. Lainey Reed most likely will beat Candice LeRae, and then she probably will even beat Sol Ruca at NXT No Mercy, but we don't know that yet. And that can upgrade her, and she can have a great performance and whatever. But as far as on the 23rd at 5 o'clock, Lainey Reed is an any tier for me.
It's interesting to see how the Speed Championship will get factored into that, and like where people find themselves getting pushes.
Yeah.
through those levels.
Just because of the fact that like if they are going to push somebody and give them something, it's better than nothing. Like the NXT Heritage Cup, that just doesn't exist anymore for some reason. I'd go E for Jasmine Nix. I don't see it.
I think that's then D for Fallon and C for JC.
No, I wouldn't go that low for Fallon.
So C, Fallon, and JC.
I think probably both in C.
That works.
Because they have a lot of potential. They're fun. They're good. It's a big difference, I think, between Jasmine and Fallon and JC. And Fallon and JC could go up to the main roster right now. If they went up to the main roster right now, they wouldn't be fighting for the championship immediately. So they would be that B, C at most type of range. So I'd go C. They would be in a range of an Apple Fire. It's very disappointing how Jordan Grace has been booked. And she went from, she could have been immediately thrown into the A tier, and they don't want her to succeed in NXT. So it's like maybe B.
Right now, I'm thinking B, but if I could just for 2 seconds, she should be where Stephanie is right now.
Mhm.
And that's not a knock on Stephanie. Stephanie's great, but this isn't a case of like, oh, you have a bias because of what you saw Jordan do. Jordan can hang. You know what I mean? Like
They're just looking at her to be a loser.
this NXT push is going to do to her like Callum once said that I ruined Diana for him because I overhyped her, and then she was utilized AEW the way she is. I feel like Grace is going to be like that for a lot of people, where she came in like a big deal. I don't know why they insist on having her lose all the time.
It seems like they're obsessed with the idea that if she loses, it'll mean more when she wins and people won't be annoyed at her or something. But by doing that, they're just killing all of her. Or
She's not an underdog. She's not an underdog.
Right.
She's a powerhouse. She should be booked like a dominant champion,
Mhm.
or like just a dominant force. Heel or babyface, regardless of it. You shouldn't be booking her as a
Have to
an
fight for
underdog
anything.
babyface.
Yeah.
That's just not who she is.
She's being booked as a John Cena 2010 dumb babyface who gets betrayed by all her friends and can't seem to pull out a win. Like, I don't get it, because she
Yeah.
should be in A tier, if not like already creeping towards S.
Right.
She could have been booked that strong.
And they're going to have to rehab her after being in NXT, rather than NXT being a launching point to the main roster.
And it's gonna be one of those things we know it for a fact where they're not even gonna try. All they're gonna do is call her up and go, "Isn't it amazing?
Mhm.
We have Jordan Grace on the main roster now."
That's what again is one of the most worrying aspects of it, because for a lot of people, NXT is the peak of their actual booking ability. So she got like she's been in Shawn Michaels' hands. And Shawn Michaels, and under Shawn Michaels, I think fairly, the NXT Women's division has been considered to be like the highlight of NXT for the last year, 2 years plus.
100%.
And so then she's going to be put into Triple H's hands, and maybe Triple H thinks more highly of her, or book her better. Again, I can't say one way or the other, but Triple H's recent booking over the last year plus hasn't given a lot of confidence to a lot of people in terms of how the direction goes. Because you could probably parlay that into talking about Roxanne Perez.
Roxanne is, I would say, B.
Yeah.
She's got potential to be higher, but they're firmly booking her in a spot where hopefully she beats AJ Lee for the Women's Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. So it's like, I hope that in 7 months she wins the mid-card belt. And you know what, like, people can have slower. You know, she's what, like 22 or something? Like, she's got time. So she won the tag titles, she can win the mid-card title. Roxanne's not in a spot where if Roxy doesn't win the belt, the like, you know, Women's World Championship the next year, she's cooked. Like, no. She could be in B tier, it could be good right now.
She has time. Like Tyler Baton, Pete Dunne had time.
That's,
Yeah.
that's the
Oh, now they're Los Americanos.
I'm full blown done with that mentality of like, oh no, everybody, you need to wait. No, you don't, because
If you don't need to wait, there's no reason to wait. But at the same time, I think Roxanne will get there.
I think she will too. But as a viewer, I'm beginning to think that they're just making these people wait to make them wait.
Just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
We don't have wrestling shits right now. Can I just put Nikita Lyons in there?
I mean, I wouldn't
Well,
argue
you can do
against
whatever you want, pal.
Okay, because
Actually, that is your First Amendment right, Tony.
we're having less and less of that happening nowadays.
And as you know, it was given to you by this wonderful British fan. So rock on.
Lyons has decreased over and over and over. She just, like, at her absolute peak, she still wasn't great. And now she's, like, barely even on Evolve. And when she's on there, it's, like, it's just no.
On a real level, she was okay when she started, and now both of her knees. And you just, like, I genuinely feel bad in that way. That it's like, damn, you were starting from, you know,
Not super duper high,
anyway,
but
and now both your knees are gone.
right. Now that has made it to where she can't work in the ring. And she's also just been, like, she doesn't have the same energy that she had before. And, like, yeah, it's,
This is what I'll say. Ava is a good example of, boy, when you really were forced to put someone in a spot, you found a pretty decent spot for them. If you find a spot for Nikita that's not in the ring.
it's crazy how Ava was terrible. That's what it is. She was fucking terrible. Like, she sucked on the mic. She sucked in the ring. She had no character. And then they gave her this general manager role, and she was bad at that. And she's gotten to a point now where she's confident enough that it's like, you know, she's a fine enough general manager. She wouldn't be my first pick. And, you know, if we were doing some kind of a draft and it was like ranking, you know, we can pick our general managers, I'm certainly not going to pick Ava over like a William Regal or a Teddy Long or whoever the hell else. But, like, she's fine in this role. Good for her. Nikita,
Also, that's what I'll say. She's also extremely young and needed to find herself.
Yeah.
You know?
Nikita is
Shadow
not
was
finding
the most
anything.
charismatic man of all time.
Yeah.
Like,
So let's go with toss another random name out there.
Thea Hale.
Thea. Thea to me, I hate to do this. Realistically, Thea is a D.
Unfortunately, she's another one. There haven't been too many fumbles in the NXT Women's division, but that's another one where they're just like, no, you're gonna lose.
Yeah, we just don't want to push you. And if Fallon and JC are a C, I can't put Thea on the same level right now.
When I say prayers, I start to see, really I see what God wants for me.
But she's definitely higher up than Lady and Jasmine, because the only reason why she isn't higher up is because they just for some reason don't want to fucking push her. Thea is fun, and she's good in the ring, but they don't care, and that sucks. I think I'd probably put a couple other people in that range too. Like I'd probably put Tatum Paxley in that range.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think Izzy has improved to the point that she's at that range. I would have put her lower before. Rizzo's been just non-existent. I had no opinion. Rizzo
I
is
can't even say what she's like in the ring.
um,
Carmen's a D.
she's on the same range. Carmen, she has potential. She's hot. She's able to carry herself on the microphone. So like some things are clicking, but it hasn't all clicked yet, and they haven't bothered to like give her a championship run or like a solid push for more than a few weeks at a time. So she's not on the same range as Fallon and JC, I think. But I would put some of the people in the same range as Fallon and JC. I would put Jada Parker.
Yeah.
I would put Kalani Jordan.
Yes.
I'd put Lola Vice.
Yes.
I would put Zarya.
Yeah.
And
Ren is E. She's booked like an E.
she's booked like an E. Yeah, it sucks. She's fun, but she's booked lower than the other ones.
Tremendously fun, but
Tyra May Steele, I put in E right now. She has some potential. She has to learn more. Like, just get some character.
I would genuinely put her at least in D because she can beat all those women. And she would beat all those women if they were booked against her.
If they cared enough to really push her with the Olympic thing, she would. But right now, they're like, she's not a jobber. Maybe she would go in D. Yeah,
Just wrestle Chelsea Green.
that's true. Yeah.
Who
Fair
else
enough.
B?
Jasmine is like, she's the loser of the group. Ren loses all the time. Tyra being a D makes sense.
Chelsea Green's a B.
She should be an A, but she's a B. What do you think, Ellen?
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's
But
finish
she's
up
a B.
the NXT side of things. I think Silver jumps up. Yeah, I think she's already a B. Lash has been doing pretty well. I'd put her in the same range as Jada Parker and all them. I'd put her at C. Maybe D, but
Most improved wrestler of a long time. Lash Legend is at least a C.
good for her. I'd go E for Ariana Grace.
I think that's fair.
And then Blake Monroe is last NXT talent. And
B.
Was that a D you said or C?
B is in
B.
boy.
I
You can't judge. Big John Grace. You can't judge this based on AEW. Anything to do with her AEW run.
right. So I'm like,
You have to-
I think I'd go C for Blake. But I mean, it does make sense that she's been treated like she's on par with Jordan Grace and stuff. So maybe B. But
And JC,
yeah, I mean, she's not the champion, but she is kind of being treated as she's like on par, if not better, than JC. But
one of the main characters.
I wouldn't be opposed to putting her on C. She's been disappointing in some ways, but I think
I'm
that's
not
partially
arguing
booking. Yeah.
At all, but I'm going by the booking.
So now we have the main roster that we can already run through. We're down to 24 names.
E, BFAB.
Yeah.
D, Michin. No, C, Michin, C.
So
Michin's better than they give her. I feel bad for her. They just don't want to push her.
It's just that curse. It's that curse of being somebody who's really good at the gig and then you get
A good
stuck in
hand.
it.
Nick
Good
Cross in my opinion, right? She's a wrestling eagle.
She hasn't at all since the Wyatts. She's just been like a manager essentially.
It's unfortunate because you could do something there, but
Yeah.
no opinion.
Under D, I think I'd put Ivy Nile. I don't think I'd put her in C anymore. Which stuff? She,
Maxine probably been D alongside eventually.
Well,
Yeah.
no, E right now, Maxine.
maybe she's a jobber.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
so, yeah.
She's she's there to be attractive and to be like a fun enough person on a house show match or whatever. And for some reason they give her a spot on again, the context everybody, it's November. I keep wanting to say November. It's September 23rd. And yesterday on Raw, Maxine went up to Adam Pearce and said, "Can you please give me a chance?" And he's like, "Nah."
I'm sorry. Well, you know what? No, that is funny because they're booking on a TV show that way. Why are you doing that to the poor girl?
Yeah. He was like, "Well, I can't. But if you keep doing what you're doing and you keep improving, then maybe." Which was like, you dedicated time specifically to have Maxine be like, "How good am I?" And Adam Pearce is like, "Ah." Like that's
But how's she supposed to improve if you're not actually going to put her on TV? When's she going to be doing? When's she going to be doing
House
improving?
shows, Tony. You mentioned house show matches. What house shows?
But I mean, they didn't book her for anything. So it was like, why call her out and go no, as opposed to like, all right, well, if you want to challenge, you can go up against Raquel Rodriguez next week, or you know what I mean, like one of those things.
La Grande Americana.
So I mean, again, when you might be listening to this, maybe Maxine has started to get some kind of a push or something. But as far as the 23rd, the most recent thing was, I really would like to show that I can be something, and then Adam Pearce being like, I'm not fucking seeing it, but maybe in the future, which is
I don't
she's
know,
dedicated,
man.
she's passionate, she's got some potential, but she's just not at that range yet.
I kind of hate that like they have completely removed the concept of like a strong valet with like a stable because she could do that. And no, I'm not talking about the goofy American Alpha or Alpha Academy thing. Like she could lead a stable of people.
There's nothing that separates her from a lot of the women in the past. Realistically, if you put Maxine Dupree in the era as like Tori Wilson, what's the difference? Maxine's arguably better in some ways.
Speaking of valets, what are we doing with Keanu James?
Oh
No
man,
opinion?
I don't know. No opinion, maybe.
Probably no opinion.
She's one of the better ones on the microphone, and she looks fantastic, and she's got character. And then they said, "Yeah, but fuck you" with the in ring stuff. I don't know why. If somebody's got like 3/4 of a thing going on, why would you not at least try?
You gotta accentuate the fourth that she doesn't have anything going on.
As someone who's only like really paid attention to most of the clips, I still have the full belief that they're just using Julia to push Keanu Jones.
Let's talk about Julia. She has not lived
No
up to
higher than
like,
D. No higher than D.
I'd potentially go C, but B makes sense.
She's
She's a
a
champion,
champion.
She's
Yeah,
one of the US
technically.
champions. She's a B.
but she is
Yeah.
starkly distant from Stephanie McCare. Like that shift over the past couple months has been a major gap.
I'm
Just
not being at all funny when I ask this question. How much of the positive of Steph is just because of how over the Devil's Kiss gone?
I think she's better in the ring in a lot of ways too. Though, like she has the style
Better
down.
than Jordan, really better.
Listen,
She's great. I'm not saying that she isn't. I'm saying
aesthetics play a big part of all this stuff. She's
Yeah.
clearly really hot. So, like, that's the same, not exactly the same reason, but that's a big reason why Rhea's pushed as hard as she is.
Oh, yeah.
They have that aesthetic to them. And so that's like, I'm not saying that taking anything away from Kesh. She's an excellent wrestler, and she's had great matches, both in NXT and prior to NXT as well. So she absolutely has a right to be at the position she's in. It's just a case that, yeah, she's going to get pushed more because she has the ability that someone like Julian Jordan races, but she is more aesthetically pleasing to a lot of people.
Like,
So,
I think we all would agree that, like, Candice LeRae, for instance, like, yeah, I mean, everybody's got their own preferences, but like, I think Candice is very cute, and I think that she's great in the ring. But Candice isn't on the same level in WWE as Stephanie. And
Candice
it's
LeRae was at one time the best women's wrestler in America.
Style and substance in the GMC Sierra. Or get this low mileage lease on this Sierra Elevation for around $4.99 per month.
Welcome to my reaction video of Horse Drives Car on a gravel road. I know you've been waiting for this because of my review. Guess what? I have the horse from the clip starring as my side host today.
It's and was made for the NXT era she came into. It's wild that they never got it.
But I'll also tell you this as well, just to tell you so, because we often say this sort of thing almost exclusively when we're talking about the women.
It applies to
But
men,
the
too.
same thing, no, the same thing absolutely applies to men. Why does people like Bron Breakker has the look that he has, and that means that he'll get pushed, even though a guy like Chad Gable can do a lot of the stuff that he can do. But
Mhm.
Chad's Braun looks the way that Chad does. Not that Chad is unattractive by his imagination, but it's just Braun has a presence to him that other people don't have. Same thing with like Seth has and Roman have looks to them that other people just don't have.
Right.
And-
Like, if we look
and-
at
and
the
it's
men's
a-
roster right now, like, a JD McDonough is arguably better in the ring than some people that would be higher up on the, like, we're not going to rank JD McDonough as an A-tier guy.
Yeah.
But
It's-
do you
it's
trust
artistic thing.
JD McDonough to have a better match, or do you trust, say, I don't know, what's a good example of another person that's like in that kind of higher up range?
Lesnar.
I would realistically, I have more fun watching JD McDonough in the ring than Lesnar, but it's like you can't compare which one's higher up, you know. Which I guess I don't have Brock and a couple other people here. I got oh wait, no, I do. He's on the side. Okay.
My thing is it's unfortunate because I understand what you're saying completely, and yes, that's obviously an element of Stephanie's push. But I'm also not going to lie and say that Julia's far behind her in that category. You know, like she's absolutely not.
We know well, the people that watched her in Stardom know how good the Julia can be under the right circumstances. And honestly, it's one of the ones that's so baffling about because one thing Triple H has shown consistency in is that he does book Joshi wrestlers strong. How little faith he's putting into Julia is alarming for her in a way. Yes, they're giving her the title, but doing so little with her despite being champion is kind of, well, it's in one way it's understandable, in other ways it's just a bit weird because he does treat Asuka and Kairi and Io with a lot of respect in terms of the way they're booked.
Not gonna
But-
lie. What's the only difference between the four of them? Julia is a product of the Michaels era of NXT. He doesn't have that built-in relationship with Julia, and maybe that's what that is.
A good comparison, I think, with how Julia is being treated is how Shinsuke Nakamura was put through the ringer, where it was like Nakamura was very clearly a top guy in NXT. He comes up to the main roster, they try for a little bit, and then they just go, yeah, you know what, you're gonna fit in that role. And it's like, I'm worried about that with Julia.
I think it's slightly different. Like, I think Julia's been much lower, been treated a lot worse because Nakamura, he beat John Cena within a couple of months after being put onto the main roster. And he was fighting for the World Championship in Italy against Jinder Mahal, which is probably the thing that actually ruined him, was the fact that he had to have a match with Jinder Mahal and then said, oh, he didn't get over. We had a match with Jinder fucking Mahal, he's WWE champion, of course he's not getting over.
Well,
So,
but they still kept going. They had him in the Rumble after that.
yeah, and so they did try, whereas Julia like, feels like, okay, they're going to the United States title, and then, okay, what now? Because
Yeah.
literally, and that's also probably just the issue with like, how the United States title as a general has been booked. Because literally, I know I make a joke about it, it's literally just Michin fighting for that title every couple
Yeah.
of months.
It perpetually is. And like Julia doesn't get, like, her feud with Michin is just Michin wants to fight for the title. There's nothing to it. And Julia's like, okay, well, maybe this week, maybe not.
Yeah,
That's it.
and also, like, how many times has that title been defended or paid for you?
Mhm.
Very little. Like, because like Chelsea was the first character champion, and then they gave it to Zelina Vega, who's just been, like, perennial journey woman in the company, and then just go to Julia, and then there's just nothing. You just go back to Michin because you've got so few baby faces or mid-tier baby faces. Like, it'll be the weirdest thing ever. It almost like the Sheamus Intercontinental thing. If like Michin never wins the Women's United States Championship, even though she's seemingly the only person that's exclusively fighting for that championship.
Yeah, nobody else cares about it. You're not seeing, like, when the hell's the last time we saw Zelina Vega? Trying to get that belt
On
back.
Twitch, probably.
Yeah, I guess so. So where do we put Candice? Does Candice go C or D?
See, I think.
What about Zelina?
C.
Where do we put who's else? Raquel, because we have Roxanne at B, so she can't
she's
go
not low.
higher.
She's on the same tier as Roxanne.
To me, BC,
Oddly, she's protected, whereas Roxanne isn't. Roxanne's the one that takes the falls, and Raquel's the one that's protected.
I would say even though she's been gone for a while, I'd put Liv in A,
Yeah, she'll have that. She'll have that
Yeah,
reaction
she
when she comes back.
took that strongly.
and then
But-
I would put Alexa in B. Tag team champion, and I'd put Charlotte either in B or in A.
I think both Alexa and Charlotte are A's, honestly.
Alexa, I think
I wouldn't be opposed. They can both fight for the world title at almost any time. Yeah,
is Flair also grandfathered into the S?
I don't know.
I don't think right now she is. I think she's. It's almost like weird. I think Bianca would stay in S, but you could argue that last year when she was just babysitting Jay Cargill for the most part of it during her first year in the company, you could argue that she could have been moved to A because she was just there to be a tag team wrestler for that period of time. But I think with Charlotte Flair, obviously, you can just make her world champion or put her in the world title match, and it's just, okay, that's what Charlotte does.
Right.
But I don't think, but right now she feels more like not so much grandfathered into the S in the same way that like Jericho should be grandfathered into the S for AEW, but he's not now. It's declined to the point where he can't be an S guy for the company. I think Charlotte's in that same position.
I'd argue the same when it comes to Asuka and Bailey should be under A
I think so.
and not S, despite how we know that they have had S in the past.
That's
I
fair.
think Bailey's an A.
Yeah, yeah.
Bailey and A. I'd put Tiffany as an A.
Yeah.
And I'd put
Cargill's an A.
I'd put Cargill as an A, probably. Maybe a B.
It wouldn't be my choice for like ring ability. I think she has been improving with recent performances. But I think they're positioning her as an A now. That's a lot.
I'd put
Admittedly, it's
Lyra as B, maybe. She won the women's
Lyra's-
Intercontinental Champion, so that's like the Julia range. But
I think Lyra's an A.
Lyra is
in the same as Stephanie, though?
It's about to be a wild ride, baby. Let's go.
Not the same level, but like still in the A bracket. She's higher than Roxanne and
she was
Raquel.
just the replacement for Tiffany. She has beaten Bailey. She was the IC champion.
See, I register that as like if Julia is the women's equivalent of what Lyra was, and Chelsea had won that mid-card title, and Roxanne was tag champ, Raquel's tag champ, Lyra keeps fighting with them and feuding with them and losing to them and all, I think that Lyra's like B+. Not quite A yet.
That's a fine argument. That's not for me.
That's why I'd go the same when it comes to like Kyrie would be B.
Yeah, Kyrie's A.
Zoe, unfortunately, is very low, I think. She wouldn't go
Are you
to
okay now?
but like
She's been injured for a while.
she's been injured for a while, but at her peak earlier this year, I would have put her at D. So I'm like, when she comes back, I don't think she's going to be at C.
Who we talking
Zoe,
It's not low stuck.
about? Oh, C feels right.
I'd say C, because I think she's a solid. I think she's higher than Ivy Nile.
but no opinion for now because she's been gone. Or do you guys want to put her in C?
I mean, you know what you're going to go with her. She's never going to be higher than a C, but I think she is a C. Because I think she'll just be used as like a solid hand.
I put her on par with Ivy as being D.
The solid hand remark, I would not. To me, and I know you're both going to shoot me down, but I think Natty's a perennial C, but that's just me.
A nice C, but I think Zoe's also a C. So.
Let's move Zoe over here. Let's move Natty over to C. And we have 3 people left: AJ Lee, Naomi, and Nia Jax. Nia,
Naomi,
Naomi, what?
yeah. Oh, I think they're both D's.
Naomi and Nia, I put them both in B. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then AJ, I almost kind of want to put no opinion because she has only wrestled one match. It was 3 days ago from when we're recording this.
Yeah, it's hard to. She's going to be positioned twice, but it also depends on we don't know how long she's going to be there for.
And to judge based off of one match when if she hadn't wrestled in 10 years is kind of hard to like. I didn't think she was particularly great in that match, but I don't want to be like, she's terrible.
Yeah, as I haven't watched it, I've heard mixed things about it. That it started off badly and got better by the end of it. But I don't know how. I saw by the finish of it, I thought, even though Becky did a good job carrying as she does with these veterans that come through, I thought that she did a terrible job of selling the Octopus Hold. Because she basically stayed standing the entire time, which is the complete opposite of what you should be doing in Octopus Hold. But it's hard. You can't judge AJ based on one match. If she comes back and does something more regularly, then there's time to judge her. But it may be a point of, like, by the time you come around to doing it next year, she might only have like 3 matches in her entire run, and like, we're not even talking about her next year.
And we could see a couple matches and she could be like, wow, she's completely lost it and she's at C at most, or it could be like, wow, what a great match. She got back into the rhythm and she's at least a B, if not an A, or But
It's not like Becky, because Becky's the one they almost like always go to fight these veterans. Like she's the one that has the feud with Trish Stratus, she's the one that has the one-off match with Lita. Like, and now she's the one that's going to be fighting AJ Lee. So that's basically what Becky's role is. It's almost like the difference of the gatekeeper role for the young people coming through is like, okay, it's the guy you have to be on your way up. It's like, okay, you're coming back, so we're going to give you the capable hands to put you in the best possible light. So, if Saraya ever comes back, that's what Becky will have to look for.
Yeah, probably. The likelihood that Saraya comes back and has a match with, like, let's make a big deal and it's against, I don't know, Raquel.
Michin,
is
the
like,
United States Championship.
Michin, or she's in a match with Nikki Cross randomly, like, probably not the case. I don't even think we need to adjust anything. I think we've got our bell curve already, and I think that everybody's pretty much exactly where they should be. Like, I would move a couple people around on like a personal level, but it's a 3-person system, and we've got more people in C, which should make sense. We got just 4 people in S.
I agree.
Yeah, fine with this.
All right. Well,
Congratulations to all of them.
keep in mind, everybody, we do have the men's WWE roster, which right now I put 3 people in no opinion because these 3 people have never wrestled a single time yet, and they are in the Evolve side of it anyway. So I don't know when we're going to record that. Probably sometime next week or so. And as I said before, if you have the early access tier, then you've got the option of checking this out ahead of time. I am probably just going to upload these on the 24th after we're doing our NXT No Mercy thing. I'll probably record them, upload them tomorrow, and then have early access for that, and then have them scheduled to release over the course of like the beginning of October or so. I don't know. You guys think that you're going to record anything when I'm in Brazil by any chance?
We can say.
Probably at least a Wrestle Dream review.
Prediction thing or something? Maybe like one episode that's like a hot tag / prediction thing for pay-per-views or something. I don't know.
I would do hot tags and stuff. We've typically done that before. That's how we can't say for certain. We don't promise anything that we don't deliver, but we try to if we have the opportunity.
And it's a different setup of recording than we've done before. So I might end up being able to record something and actually call into Discord on my phone and do something like that. I don't know. We're going to have to try to test that out a little bit. But if we, spread this out over the course of that time frame, you'll be listening to this when you listen to it. So, share support, leave a comment below, hit the like button, tell us what you agree with, what you disagree with, and go back and check out the AEW roster tier lists and check out the WWE men's tier list coming up whenever we do that. In the meantime, though, keep in mind to follow everything that you can find on the link tree at anthonymango.com to find all my stuff and the Fanboys Anonymous stuff and the other Smart Guy Moment links. And check out Rob and Callan's stuff too.
Yep, check me out everywhere I do tweets. Check out everything on Fightful.com as well.
You can follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky with Mighty14. Check out the Power Rankings every Saturday over on SmartGuy.com. I rank the WWE superstars based on their previous week performances. And we're over there on the Fantasy League, also WWEFantasyLeague.com to see how our teams are doing as we head towards Crown Jewel. So picking up points heading into that next show.
Which may be this week when you're listening to it or something. I don't know. All right. Well, tier list rankings 3/4 are done, and stay tuned for the WWE men's roster next. But adios for now. This has been another Smart Guy Moment, and we're being counted out.
We pulled the chase card in this vintage Neo Genesis box.
Spinarak, Ogilvy, Rumble, Walava.
What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to our annual tier list rankings from the Smart Guy Moment Smack Talk podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tony Mango. Joining me as always are Rob DeFleece.
Hey.
And Callum Wiggins.
Hello.
And I want to preface this with a little bit of a heads up. We are recording these, whatever we end up recording today, depends on what it is, on the 23rd of September. And I'm not entirely sure exactly when this is going to be released. It's going to be released early for the people that are on the $5 and up tier on YouTube. But the other people that are going to have to wait, I don't know when I'm going to schedule these things to come out. I don't know if we're going to record 1 or 2 episodes today or 3 or 4, whatever it might be. But we're knocking out a couple things a little bit ahead of time. And some of this is going to be heading over into October. So keep that in mind too. We are doing our usual thing here where we've got the AEW women's roster, the AEW men's roster, the WWE women's roster, and the WWE men's roster as of September 23rd. That's our reference point. And our usual tier list rankings, the way we've done the past couple of years. So we'll explain what those rankings are, although it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, if you've seen one tier list, then you've seen the other ones. So as we go along here and we rank the different superstars and wrestlers that are on these lists, we want to know your opinions about that as well. So drop a comment below, or if you are on any other kind of platform, leave a comment on that front. Head on over to smartguymoment.com. If you are not on something that has some kind of a comment, you don't want to head on YouTube or something, keep in mind too that we also have our Discord server. So if you want to talk about that over there, that's another great way for you to just join in on the fun and be a part of the community. Keep in mind as well too, if you are on YouTube, then hit the like button. That helps us out quite a bit. And double check that you are subscribed and ring your notification bell for your email alerts. When you're listening to this is probably going to be to an extent when I'm not around for a couple pay-per-views, so there won't be post shows for Wrestle Dream and Crown Jewel, and I wouldn't have done anything for TNA anyway. But those 2 events are not going to have post shows. I'm not going to be in the United States for that. So yeah, in the future when it comes down to that, I don't know, maybe I'll do something on my phone or something. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. But share support in a couple other ways too. If you want to join the Patreon, patreon.com/smartguymoment. If you want to pick up some merchandise, Redbubble and TeePublic, or where you can do that. And as I mentioned before, this is going to go live earlier for the early access people on the $5 and up tier on YouTube. But even $1 a month, greatly appreciated. $10 is the Darkcast tier. Pick Poisons, another one like that. So if you are interested, you got a little spare change, toss it our way. Yeah, we got the tier list thing is the generic setup that we've got before, and you can see on your screen right now on YouTube at the very least that we've got our breakdown that we've had in the past. The S tier, aka the GOATs. A tier, we're going on the main event. B tier is above average. C tier is middle of the road. So we should be going with like a graph that C tier tends to be the most. That's kind of the whole point of the bell curve. D tier is below par. E tier is jobber status. F tier is the drizzling shits. And then we have the no opinion tier for people that we either haven't seen a lot of, or we aren't exactly sure where they're going to fit right now. Maybe they've been injured for a while or something, or they haven't even got started yet, whatever it might be. Again, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a tier listing. So for anybody that is curious why we don't have like graphics and have like the tier listing and all that, it's just way too hard to like hundreds of people make each graphic and then make a chart, whatever. It's a lot easier to do it on the spreadsheet here. So
if you want it, donate to the Patreon, show us your interest, and then you get it.
That's exactly how that works. So I've got on my roster page on Smart Guy Moment these 41 women we're going to start off with for AEW. And the same when it comes to the AEW men's roster and the women's roster for WWE and then the men and all that. I not only consulted my own list, but I also made sure to check a couple other places. So I might have some people missing that we could put in there. And then maybe there's a chance that there's somebody that I still have on here that hasn't been around, or maybe they got released and they just like, it's, for some reason these companies are making it harder and harder for you to know exactly who's in the company anymore, which is very frustrating. But at least for now, it seems like we've got the big enough group. If we think of anybody along the way, then we'll just add them as it goes. So 41 people on the AEW women's roster page right now. And the usual thing that I try to do, we got a high end, a low end, and a middle. Anybody want to toss out any people that they would put on like the absolute bottom of the barrel or the absolute top of the hierarchy or anything?
Tony's thrown to the absolute top.
I think that's safe to say, despite the fact that I'm not the biggest fan of the character and all. I look at this the tier list rankings as partially my own favoritism and then partially just like general consensus. I also keep in mind everybody, if it's like a 2-on-1 thing, then we balance it out that way. So if Rob and Callum were saying S tier and I was saying B tier, we'd either go S or A, that kind of thing. So all that explanation out of the way. I think we probably have 3 votes for Tony Storm in the S, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And I think most likely we still would go Mercedes in that way.
I mean,
Yeah.
But again, not somebody that I'm liking as much as I used to, but relatively speaking.
Dude, we know you said it because you said on the I listened to the post show that you did of the AEW. You said Beth Phoenix was better than 99% of the women's division when she hasn't wrestled in like 2, 3
Wait,
years. Whatever. Yeah, he said that phrase.
I still think that. I enjoyed Beth way more than most of the people that have been in AEW's women's division have ever shown me.
I always ask questions of that. When was the last time you went to see watch an old Beth Phoenix match just for the fuck of it?
When's the last time I went to watch an old Bret Hart match even? I don't I don't do that with wrestling anymore.
No, but you're probably far more likely to do that. But either way, I'd say that...
for that matter, I forgot about adding Beth Copeland onto here, but...
Actually, no, just in shits, I think.
Wrestling shits?
Yeah.
You never were a big fan of Beth Phoenix?
No, I was a big fan of Phoenix, but she's not Beth Phoenix anymore. She's like
Beth.
Yeah, Beth. Yeah.
See, I would say she's done anything, so I put her in the no opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I'm joking.
I mean, he's kicking around.
But she's far closer to that than she is the S tier. I'll say that much. But if we're looking for, I don't know if anyone really belongs in the S tier for the women's side of things.
I mean, for overall value and what she's accomplished in the company and what she's doing now and all, I would potentially put Camille.
Actually, yeah, that's probably there's one that's the safe one to go with.
Like, she didn't do a damn thing that was good, and then she's just been gone. So it's like, if you remove Camille from the AEW history books, nothing changes other than you get rid of a disappointment. Sounds awful, but yeah, she should have won the WWE if that was how it's going to go.
You think now it's probably the time also just put Britt Baker there as well? From an AEW perspective, she's a giant. At the moment, she's just a giant vacuum of money that isn't contributing anything.
Here's something that every year we do these, we always have to clarify for everybody too, and it's good to reiterate it and all that. We are basing these primarily on what they're doing now, and that's why, like I said, Mercedes Moné and Tony Storm, they're S tier in AEW, but overall they're S tier or whatever. And then for my personal taste, they wouldn't be necessarily S tier or whatever. But like somebody like Beth Phoenix, I would put towards that like S and A for like overall career. But right now you can't because she hasn't wrestled a match. So somebody like a Britt Baker hasn't been around in a long time, and I don't remember the last thing that she did that was particularly great. And she's only really like hurting her legacy. So yeah, if you go like, oh, is Britt Baker at her best F tier, one of these like Giant Gonzalez terrible? No, she wasn't. But now, she's not really accomplishing anything. She's not really contributing.
Honestly, they're gonna sue me if they ever find out that I told you this, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
So you ever notice how these like sketchy money-making apps keep you hanging short of just cashing out? You play and play, reaching that payout threshold seems nearly impossible. I know of an app that doesn't do that, and it's called Just Play. It has no cash out minimums ever. Whether it's $1 or $20, you can send it straight to your PayPal at any time. So all you do is download an app, install the games you like, and start playing them.
Block Blast Puzzle Games. Play now.
I wouldn't be opposed to putting her towards that very end, or the
she has,
tier or something.
She has to be in the bottom half.
Yeah, she can't. I wouldn't even put her in C tier. I'd put her in D, E, or F, or maybe no opinion, but like that.
I
for sure.
I wouldn't go any higher than D.
Yeah,
I wouldn't put her in F.
Maybe E.
At least that's right then. Yeah, then.
That works. I think that the same can apply to a couple other people that I'm sure that I might get some disagreements for, but like I have. By the way, I have no opinion about Viva Van. I don't even know what she really looks like. She hasn't really been wrestling.
She hasn't done enough on AEW. She's been wrestling on the Indies primarily. So.
Yeah. I would like D, E, F. People like the Renegades. They just don't really stand out to me. When's the last time that Nyla Rose wrestled? There's quite a bit of people here that I have like almost no opinion to, or I've lost track of them.
I'd say that like the Renegades, we might have to split between two of them. I just need Robin remind which one's the one was injured for a long time.
Charlotte.
Okay, Robin's been working.
Yeah, Robin's so I put Robin in D and Charlotte in E then because at least Robin's been doing stuff.
What about you, Rob?
Yeah, that sounds about fair.
Who would go in A? Would we?
Because they'll be like Mercedes.
Maybe Tekla?
Tekla's an A, yeah. I'd say.
Oh yeah.
It's like she hasn't gotten to the point where I'd be like, okay, I trust her with the championship and to be the top person and to run through everybody. But like she's been there a very short amount of time and she's already impressed way more than a lot of other people. Do we go S or A for Willow? I'd go S.
For how she's been presented, I'd go A.
Yeah, it's a difference of like she's clearly like a big star for AEW, but she does seem to be on the cusp between like being an S and A player. I think there's like I think there's three people that all fit into that same category, which is Willow, Chris Statlander, and Athena.
Athena's a mess.
She's a Ring of Honor S.
I think we might end up moving one or two over there, but I think we could put them all in A for now, and then see who else we put, and then we always can adjust.
There's no one else that will go that high from the remaining people that's left. So
see, I would think like Jamie Hayter would be a B.
I'd
put her lower than that group. So whether that would be like the difference between an A plus and an A minus, or you know what I mean, B plus.
I think the fact that she is a former champion is still presented pretty highly up in terms of her presentation. Let's say she was finalist of the most recent Owen Hart tournament, just recently fought for the World Championship. Like, as we're saying that like we put on the same, she might be like the same tier as before, but we might be moving one or two of those over to S tier. So I think she's A.
True.
I'll put it this way: if we're going to put someone like we got Tekla in A, we're going to drop both Julia Hart and Sky Blue down to C. Probably not, because they're on TV all the time.
I would probably go B, Julia, C, Sky.
See, if it was up to me, I'd go the other way around because like Sky's a better wrestler than Julia Hart.
B, Julia, C, Sky. Julia hasn't wrestled that much. Sky has to be the secondary to second.
Julia's one of those things that, like, she was good, then she got injured, and she hasn't really recaptured that same ability. But with Julia, the reason why people will immediately go that she's B is vibes.
And former champion.
Yeah,
so that
she's
helps.
true, but I think currently in this moment, Blue is ahead.
Yeah, she's wrestling more regularly, she's doing a lot more.
If we put them both in the same and we go B, I would definitely say Queen Aminati goes B.
Queen Aminati does B, yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't go so far as to say A yet, but she's definitely above C.
Yeah, I put Windsor there in B as well.
I'm not super big on Windsor, but if you guys say 2 for B, then like I would put her more in C.
No, she's been presented as a B.
Yeah.
So 2 votes for B, 1 vote for C.
I'm going to say C for Diana, and even that's probably high for how she's being presented right now.
I'd find her C, I think, because I don't think she's as low down as like a Robin Renegade type. I mean, you argue Robin should be down a bit further down, but like Diana's I think C. I'd say Diana's the C and type Valkyrie's a D.
Yes.
I could go with that, yeah. That makes sense. I have no opinion about Trisha Dora. I just don't watch ROH, so I couldn't even tell you, like, I couldn't pick her out of a lineup, let alone know anything about her. So that's totally on you too, or a no opinion column.
Yeah, I'd say C or D.
I'd say more D, because even though she's kind of, like, she's obviously part of the Shanghai Promotions, and so has a somewhat featured role there, but even when she wrestles, like, women's matches, she's never been presented as a consistent threat, even for Ring of Honor standards.
So may as well just remove Madison Rain, right?
Yeah, in my opinion.
She's not even, like, actually wrestling.
She's the same tier as Paul White is in the men's.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. B tier for Riho?
Yeah, only change the fact that she doesn't appear enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
you could argue same thing for Shida as well.
Yeah, that's where I was going to.
I could say B tier for Harley Cameron. Because we're ranking not just based on ring skills, we're ranking based on overall.
The inverse of, she's like the opposite end of the same spectrum as Perazo for me, where she's being presented high, but the ring ability is currently at a certain level. Whereas I think Perazo has A tier ability, but being presented at a certain level. So I'd put her in C2.
I think Cameron has to be above Deonna Purrazzo. Fundamentally, if Deonna Purrazzo did have A tier ability, she would be positioned higher. She doesn't have A tier ability based on this stuff.
Because if they were going to give somebody a championship based off of just like pops and popularity, somebody that starts off with the word pop, they would be way more likely to give it to Harley Cameron than even like actually like anybody on this list for the most part.
Like Willow, honestly, the way she's the pop she gets.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to always have a differentiate with the thing of you can't just go based on someone being like funny, because otherwise like Mr. Iguana will be holding multiple championships in WWE right now. You can't just go.
I think that's actually a good comparison though, because Mr. Iguana wins more matches and is featured more than say somebody like I don't know, like one of the other clowns.
Psycho Clown, yeah.
Like Psycho Clown's one of the ones that's tag champ, right? Yeah, Psycho Clown. And then there's like 4 other ones or something. And it's like those guys aren't popping up in anything. So if they were to for some reason be like, hey, we need a new champion in AAA, I think they'd go more Mr. Iguana than they would whatever the other clowns would be, even if they have like a better win-loss record or something. So I'd put Harley in that like B- range. I'd put her above Diana. I think that if you were to go with somebody gets a fluke win, or somebody like, which one would you rather win the TBS championship? Would you rather do like a Harley gets it and then now we go with this like underdog story? Would you go with Diana? I think the crowd would be like, I'm not really interested in Diana. Which sucks because Diana's talented, but you know.
Well, unfortunately with Diana, like her die was cast 2 months into her running the company, and she'll never escape that now. I don't think. Let's have a major dramatic change in character for her, but they don't seem like they're too interested in doing that.
It's unfortunate, but that definitely seems to be the way it.
It's about to be a wild ride, baby. Let's go.
Seems to be the way it's looking.
Maybe another C, Anna Jay?
Yeah. She might be lower, but we'll go C for now.
Who out of this list that we have left, because we're already almost done, who out of this list do you think would rank the highest? Would it be Megan Bain? Would it be Mina Shirakawa?
Megan Bain, I'd say that'd be the highest of the people that's left.
I'd go B.
She'd probably be an A right now.
I think she's A. She's only lost one match. She's only lost one match in her entire time in AEW, so still protecting her. And I put Nina in D.
I can see that.
That's probably the highest one that's left.
Yeah, because even Thunder Rosa, former champion and stuff, like she's fallen by so much that I wouldn't even.
She's on par with Diana.
Marina's interesting because like she's in a main event act, but she obviously doesn't wrestle that much anymore.
If we were just talking about the word of the times, which is aura, she's an S, but she doesn't wrestle. So it's very strange.
I almost no opinion, Marina.
Opinion.
Just because, yeah, like she doesn't do anything other than, like, she might as well be a manager, you know? There's not much that separates Marina Shafir from Stokely, except Stokely talks and she doesn't.
Yeah, she gets physical matches in a multi-half.
Marina probably
Yeah, Marina does.
Stokely just got physical a couple times. But yeah, I had no
Yeah,
opinion,
but
Marina.
Marina's one is effective. It's like just there to be hit. Slightly different. Yeah, we can leave it there for now. If we could fill up the rest of, like, say, try and make it bigger, I'd say, I guess Time Mellow and Serena Deeb go into there.
Maybe Red Velvet.
Yeah, Red Velvet as well. I put Big Stokes in there as well.
Maybe Penelope either in C or in D.
See, I think for Penelope, she's stepped up in this role as the supporting act for Main
I'm down for that. I don't think anybody else goes into the C tier, to be honest. Diamante, Emi Sakura, Lady Frost, Layla Gray.
Saki, I think, does. I think Yuka does.
What do you think, Rob? Yuka in C or in D?
I would say C for ability.
And then everybody else is somewhere in that D to E to F to no opinion range.
In my opinion, Ruby Soho, we haven't seen her wrestle for a long time. It's hard to judge what she'll be like when she comes back or where she'll be positioned.
It has been a while. I don't think she's going to reach any higher than C, to be honest. But, you know, who knows?
I don't want to put her any lower just because she hasn't had any chance to really influence her position.
True.
The rest of them, I guess it's just based on, like...
I think the same, basically, for Mercedes Martinez. Was the last time she wrestled?
It's been a long time.
I'm not being funny. Like, she's still on the roster, right?
I think so. I don't know. See, that's like the weird thing is because sometimes on the AEW roster page, there are people on there that we know for a fact are not really around anymore, and they just didn't update it. Whereas, like...
Well, I actually think that they do a good job at updating their website. I think anyone who's on is legitimately under contract, and you know they're off when they get taken off the website.
And then there's people that they have wrestled for like weeks or months, maybe even like over a year, and they're not listed on there. And then, like, I think that Pretty Peter Avalon is still listed on there. And like, I don't remember the last time he wrestled for anything.
He comes in and out. It depends on if they're going in his local area where he can just do jobs for them.
I mean, these contract things, especially when it comes to WWE, you can do like the NIL versus the ID versus Evolve versus NXT with the performance. It's all fucking confusing. So I don't know. Maybe Mercedes is still under contract. Maybe she's not. I still don't know about the status of Lady Frost, if she's like officially signed to Ring of Honor or to NXT, not actually to AEW, or is this just like a per deal thing, or I don't know. When it comes to Lady Frost.
She might be on one of those like B tier contracts, which is kind of like she'll be available, but it's mostly there for just like the sporadic appearances, primarily only ones to put people over.
Yeah, I wouldn't go high on Lady Frost. I mean, obviously everybody here is D or lower, but
I mean, she's A in terms of like as a job status, like she's not prominently featured.
I'd potentially say Layla goes into the lowest tier. Everybody else goes into the E.
And,
Layla in D?
Yeah.
Does she wrestle more on ROH than what I've seen?
Yeah, she does. But she's also part of I won't say like a heavily featured act, but she is part of an act in AEW that does get semi-frequent TV time.
She registers more. Like, I even would no opinion her on the same Marina Shafir manager thing in my mind from what I see.
She does wrestle on Ring of Honor, like probably like two times, like twice a month. I was like, she's nothing special. I wouldn't put her any higher than D tier, but I think that she's got good promo ability, so I'd put her in D probably. That was Nyla, and then I could see the other three going into E tier. I mean, I personally advocate Sakura's going to D because she's a better wrestler than the other two. But
what about you, Rob? Would you give Layla Gray the D tier? That sounds awful. Yeah, Rob, would you give Layla Gray the D or?
I don't know why you set me up for that, but yeah, she's because if we put Trish in D, Layla's probably there too. Trish is a better performer, but Layla also gets more TV time on AEW. It evens out.
Layla Frost hovering around that E tier.
Yeah, she never wins. Or never has it. Like in Ring of Honor, she wouldn't win matches. So
Diamante, Emi Sakura. To me,
like we know that they can be good, they just don't appear very often.
Yeah, like they're in that range. Like I kind of range a little bit differently when it comes to like obviously WWE women, for instance. Like most of these women that are on this 76 women thing, almost all of them perform so regularly that it's easier to rank them. Whereas like Emi Sakura pops up and it's like what she wrestles like once every like 6 months or something. Like
yeah, when she's mostly doing her thing in Japan with the promotion that she runs. So yeah, but I can understand putting them both into E because they don't appear enough. If they do appear, they're mostly there to lose. So
yeah, and then Nyla, I don't remember even the last time we saw Nyla.
I mean, I put her in D just because she has a reputation behind her, and we know that she comes in. Like she's more likely going to lose matches now, but like they can choose to push her at any point in time. It's somewhat believable because of the history she has behind her, and also because of her build as well. So you could at one point say, okay, bring back, we can do a 1 month program for the TBS title, and you just you go along with it because it's not a rose.
Yeah.
So I mean that's it for everybody already, unless we adjust anybody. I would still toss Willow into the S tier out of this group.
I would say Athena's an S, and I would stand pretty firm on that. I mean, over 1,000 days, this Ring of Honor Women's World Champion was featured heavily on AEW TV this year.
I mean, I would say that only one of those three women we mentioned is AEW Women's World Champion right now.
What if you could add a Moonbreon to your collection in seconds? BoxGG's new vending machines let you pull slabs that are graded by experts like PSA and Beckett and ship them right to your door. There's hundreds of possible cards per pull, and it's constantly restocked, so you'll always have access to great hits. That's how I got my childhood favorite, Poliwrath. And Boxed always shows you all the possible cards, the value, and the drop rate, so you know exactly what you can get and it feels fair. Sign up to Boxed for free and find your Grail today.
I don't think I would go Chris into S, but I think, I mean, it's tough. We also, for context of this too, for whenever you guys listen to this, we've seen Chris Statlander win the championship, but we haven't seen the episode of Dynamite to follow that.
Yeah, we
so,
see what her reign is like, as opposed to just, I do understand that.
Like, are they going to treat her as like...
She's already lost to Mina Shirakawa.
It could be. Like, you know, they could treat her as like, I won this and I'm not ready for it yet, and then it makes it look like she's not as, you know, on the same par. But like, they could treat it as like she goes on a fucking tear right now. Like, it's hard for us to tell on the 23rd. And you might be listening to this on, I don't know, the October 4th or something. And that might make a big difference.
Or it could be one of those things where, my hope is, because I like Chris and I think that she could have a really good reign as champion, is that she's treated the same way that Swerve Strickland was, where when Swerve was given the title, a lot of people were kind of thinking, oh, is he kind of at that level? And then he grew with the championship, so the hope is that they do the same thing with Statlander.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that Willow is the one that beats Stat for that. So, you know, you go back in time to, you know, a couple months from now, you come back and look at this, it might end up being like, okay, well then, you know, big jump up for, so, you know, so on and so forth.
It very much depends on whether she turns heel or not, and that seems to be what people think would be the direction, and Willow makes all sense in the world, but if she doesn't turn heel, then I don't think Willow will be the one to beat her. But
I don't think anybody from B I would move up to A. I think that B downward is pretty locked. It's just a matter of if we move any of these three from A over to S.
I think if we're just being like honest with ourselves, the one that's the biggest soul has the biggest soul potential out of the three of them is Willow, so Willow is the one that you move to S if anyone.
That's the way that I see it.
She has the high ceiling out of all of them.
Yeah, and then it's like Athena at any point, if they want to pull the trigger, they could put her into that S tier, but for some reason they want to keep her in ROH instead. And then Stat just got to this level where she's been hovering around like you could give her the belt for a while, but they just gave it to her 2 days ago, or 3 days ago. So that's hard to tell. So she's like in that like, I think this is a good group the way that this is.
Yeah, I think this makes sense. There's some subtle changes you can make, but I don't think anything that's significant enough to warrant a big discussion about.
There you go. We already knocked down. You know, everybody tip your hats to each other and shake hands, and that was a good quick run through. We do have 3 other ones that we're gonna do. So I don't know if we're gonna do plugs for all these things. They're gonna be separate videos, and then I don't know if I'm gonna like do separate audio only ones of these. I probably will. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But quick plugs at the very least. Make sure that you keep in mind all the Smart Play stuff, the Discord server, and all that. And also go to amangotree.com, and you'll see all the links for Smart Moment, for Fanboys Anonymous, and for Tony Mango. All my crap is all over there. So if you want to follow me on Letterboxd, or you want to follow me on Instagram, even though I don't do anything on there, for some reason, if you want to, then go ahead, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, whatever it might be over on that front. Obviously, check out Fanboys Anonymous and Smart Moment. Check out what Rob and Callum are up to too.
Yep, check me out on Fightful.com, and check me out everywhere on social media at DudeFleece.
Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at WeekMaster14. Check out the Power Rankings every Saturday on SmartCamo.com. And while you're over there, you can also head to the Fantasy League, also www.fantasyleague.com, to see how our rosters are doing on the road to Crown Jewel.
Cool. That is tier list number 1 down. So depending on the order of when you listen to this and when it is even uploaded and all that, keep in mind we have 3 other ones. So AW men's roster and WWE men's and women's rosters coming up soon. We will see you there. But for now, this has been another Smart Moment, and we're being counted out.